Welcome painters! Today I bring you a great video for beginners. I will show you how to apply washes, a very good technique to paint our miniatures. We just need our wet palette and a brush. So let's go for it! Let's start. I will use this mini from Games Workshop to teach you the washes technique. But first, I will prime the figure. I will use Gray Surface Primer by Vallejo. For those of you who are new to the channel, here's a link where I explain what colors to use to prime your minis. This time, I will use Gray Surface Primer, which will help me to better explain the technique. I will use the Infinity CR Plus. Needle size is 0.15 millimeter and pressure is at 1.8 bar. And now I am going to apply thin layers. Look in the box at how I press the trigger. This way, I apply thin layers. Here you can see the final result. I applied 3 to 4 layers. I will use Dead Flesh from Game Color as the base color. Shake the bottle well and put it in the blister. I will add airbrush thinner since this range is thicker than normal, so we have to use this product so the dilution will be perfect for us. For those of you who are new to the channel, here's a link to a video where I talk about airbrush dilution. I recommend watching it because it will help you a lot. Well, I keep stirring until I get a perfect dilution. Here I have the Infinity. I put the paint inside and test it. It flows properly. What's next? To apply thin layers. Look in the box, how I press. We have to get a very thin layer. I apply a layer, let it dry, and then repeat. Here you can see the final result. I will apply washes, which consist of adding more water than usual to the paint, so the paint will enter all of the recesses and we get good definition. I will use different ranges because I want to explain the characteristics of each of them. Here we have Game Ink, the Wash, the Airbrush range, and finally, Model Color. I shake all of the bottles well and put them all on the wet palette. You will see that this technique is super simple, and if we apply it properly, we will achieve great results. And finally, Model Color. I add some drops of water. I'm going to start to apply washes with the Game Ink range, which is the range of inks. If you look closely, this range has a high amount of pigmentation, so I recommend you add more water than usual. Since, if we apply a wash directly with this range, the wash will be stronger and difficult to control. So, I recommend you add more drops of water. This way, you will find it easier to apply the wash. Look closely. I apply the wash and then move it to get the wash inside the recesses. Super simple. Next, I will apply a wash with the special range for washes, the wash range. We can use the color right from the bottle or add water. I recommend adding 1 or 2 little drops. This range is very soft. It doesn't have a lot of pigment, so apply a wash, let it dry, and then repeat. Look at the difference between one range and the other. Well, now I will apply washes using the special airbrush ranges, Model Air and Game Air. The paint is super thin. We add 1 to 2 drops of water and apply the wash. As you can see, the wash is super soft, so depending on the area to paint, we will use one range or another. Super thin, as you can see here on the palette. Let's apply another wash. It is a piece of cake to control this paint with the brush. Rest the paint, drag it, and move it inside the recesses. And finally, the model color range. We add a couple of little drops. Pay close attention to the dilution. Look closely at this, at the dilution. Look at how the paint flows. And we can adjust the dilution. The more water, the more the paint flows. Let's apply a wash and focus more on the recesses. That's all of the different kind of washes depending on the range used to apply this technique. For example, the model color range, what did we do? We added enough water so the paint flowed better into the recesses. Notice how with maybe 2 or 3 washes, we already get definition. What happens if we use the Game Ink range? Its pigmentation level is very high, so adding more water than usual is better. So we will get a good wash, which will flow properly. Now I will apply washes on the skin. I will use model color and game color. I put both colors on the wet palette. And I'm going to put the bowl so that you can see how I'm adding water to the colors. And so it will be much easier to see the wash technique. Well, I thin down the paint and apply washes over the whole surface. I am looking for a super smooth wash, so I add more water and apply it over the entire surface. I also concentrate more on the recesses and crannies. And very important, apply a wash, let it dry, and then repeat. We will start applying light washes and then keep darkening them, so we will start with a very soft wash. It must fill all the recesses. Drag it, rest the paint, and keep moving it. Here you can see that little by little, the flesh gets definition. I am using the hair dryer to speed up the process. I recommend you use it when applying washes. You will save a lot of time. Next, I will use the Game Ink range to apply a stronger wash. And what did I tell you before? The pigmentation level of this range is very high, which means we have to add more water. If you apply this pure color, you will find it very difficult to use, so I suggest you add more water. Notice I am mixing it with a bit of the model color paint. And keep applying the wash, rest and drag it. You can see how the wash fills all of the crannies. Very simple to use and easy to apply technique. I repeat more on the gaps. And it's already getting a cool result. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments. Here you can see the final result of applying the wash technique. How the miniature has the definition we wanted. By applying washes, we achieved definition, and now it's time to highlight the flesh. I will use the colors Pale Flesh and Dead Flesh. I will use an Artist Opus brand brush, size 00. And I will also add a little bit of this green to brighten the skin. I add water to the mix. Pay close attention to the paint consistency. And now it's just applying the highlights without covering the washes. We will highlight the upper areas. We don't paint the recesses and deep parts. With these highlights, we will define the light, so be patient and cover all of the upper parts. And here you can see the result of the first highlight. With Pale Flesh, I will paint the guts and pustules and flesh pimples. Look at the movement as I make stripes on the guts surface to create texture. And stippling on the pustules. I also outline the edges a bit. And let me tell you that in the next video, I will teach you how to apply glazes, so I will leave this miniature already prepared to use it in the next video and show you the fabulous glaze technique. I hope you liked this video a lot, and it answered all your questions about washes. But, comment below any questions you might have. What did you think of this video? Interesting? Let me know your feedback in the comments. I want you to know that in Volume 1, there is more information about some different techniques. Very interesting. If you liked the video, share it with your friends, hit the like button, and ring the bell to be notified about the next video. And don't forget to click on the video description to see all the products I use. If you live in Spain, you can get the products at Goblin Trader, in France at Hobby Shop, and in the United Kingdom at Element Games. Guys, see you in the next video.